HHDG. Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media Podcast. And before we introduce our next guest for tonight, give a big shout out to our crew as always. Makes it happen every week. That's Rock Vader KB, T. Smith, the Mayor, Skelly Top, and myself, Wiki. As always, you can check out hhdgmedia.com for putting up the latest music. Also, our merch. We got hoodies and t-shirts. It's hoodie season now. Keep yourself warm with those fresh hoodies with our HHDG Media logo on there. And as always, we got events coming up. When the time comes, we'll let everyone know. On to our guest for tonight. This man has been putting in quite a bit of work between two different states, which we'll definitely get into. He's got his latest project, dope project, ill production from one producer, which we will get into as well, and some ill features that definitely complement his style. Coming in, repping Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Atlanta, that is Sixman.
Word, what's up? What's up?
Peace. How you doing?
Doing great, brother. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
All right.
Definitely.
Yeah, brother.
Now I gotta ask: is Sixman a sports reference at all?
Nope. Sixman
Okay.
stems from I had 6 fingers when I was born, so it's just who I am. It got wrapped up. Just who I am. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Now, tell us a little bit about coming up in Grand Rapids.
For sure. Started early 96, 97, just on the battle scene in Michigan. Just gathering and garnishing a name out there. Late 99, early 2000s, I got with an independent label, KJ Records. And we put together a maxi single and an album, Who Am I the Definition and Strive for Perfection. Those were some of my early pieces and classical pieces coming out of Michigan, which end up, yielding forward 30 years hip hop pioneering through Grand Rapids as well. We went back there a couple of years ago and sat on the panel as one of the pioneers from Grand Rapids, just because of those particular early records I was talking about. So those are my early, comings from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Definitely. That's dope. Now tell us some of your memorable battle from back then.
Some of my memorable battles back then?
Yeah.
Okay, dope. Yeah. Like back then, it was a place called the Hip Hop Cafe, right? So this was one of the staples, kind of like the Shelter over in Grand Rapids. And there, I would have to battle. It's a cat that's one of our known and nicest battlers in the city by the name of Shorty Tai Chi. And I remember battling them and just battling some of the more bigger and prominent MCs at that time that were before me, the Prophecies, DA, Manchild, Nappy Heads, Shogun. We would all kind of battle amongst each other, friendly competition. Mm-hmm. But then in that friendly competition, those who were really strong at it were actually gathering a name to be able to go forward a little bit. So my most memorable battles is at the Hip Hop Cafe.
Dope. Now, what kind of music did you grow up listening to, and what do you still listen to most of that music to this day?
Word. Raised on a lot of Motown. So family was, playing all of the Motown hits, when I was growing up. Moving so I listened to a lot of just R&B wise with Temptations, Al Green, of course, my family, the DeBarges, Switch. My mother had a real, she put me on game a lot about kind of who Switch was. Mm-hmm. just because I was always a little confused between the bars and switch, and she had to put me on game about the difference of that. So I grew up with a lot of that soul, then moving hip hop. Some of my favorite people I was listening to early was Run DMC a lot, Queen Latifah and them a lot, Tribe a lot. But then when I got stuck and found what I was really, really off into was when I was introduced to the Wu-Tang and I'm deep in those guys. And then I got stuck from there. And those are still my influences to today and some of my, they're supreme in my book forever.
That's my home borough right there, Staten Island.
Word. Yeah, man. That's what did it. It was those brothers, man. Yeah.
Now, it's interesting that you say Wu-Tang because Grand Rapids has ties with the Wu-Tang. You got Willie the Kid.
Yep.
Bronze Nazareth.
Yep.
You got Willie Kid's older brother.
A lot of dark, man.
Yeah.
that's who we was, for us. That's to see a lot of dark man do what he was doing. He was the earliest for us to see and be tied to. Because I was tied to Willie the Kid and them in the early stages. All of us, it was 5 of us, including Willie. We was in a group. So I remember we was always trying to like get at La back at that time before Willie had ever kind of took off with La together. So that was a major influence for like all of us out the city was La. Yeah. Man. He gets all the respect, even to today. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. That's respect right there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I don't want to jump too far yet, but being that we was talking about Willie the Kid and the clothing line, GRUSA. Yeah. I remember him a few years ago saying, Grand Rapids doesn't have, a type of clothing, where like with the hat with the A for the Atlanta, nothing repping Grand Rapids. So that was part of that calling right there, got to rep it somehow.
And he did very well by bringing that to the forefront because he's absolutely right. Like a lot of us didn't want to wear Detroit hats because we're not from Detroit, and it's nothing against Detroit. We just want to be able to have our own identity, like Detroit has their own identity. So that's why I rep it because I'm from Grand Rapids and I understood the mission at what he was doing, and I'm a rep it because I need to be able to wear it too. So that's why you see me, I got it on all the time, But today I got the A hat on because of the Atlanta Braves going to the World Series, so I had to rep the A hat today, So.
Yep. Now, how was your transition from Grand Rapids to the A?
Yeah, little different for me. My transition was back in 2003. So I was leaving home, and at that time, I really was bubbling. At that time, I had songs on some of our more prominent radio stations at the time, and I'm like, dang, next week I'm actually leaving out. I was doing big shows. I was really popping, so that was hard for me to just really be like, I'm getting ready to leave that and to jump into the belly of the beast. But I think it was the best thing for me. You know what I'm saying? To get out of just only thinking within inside of those 4 corners and jumping into trying to be and being on the radar in hip hop. That's always the goal and the dream, is to be on the actual radar of hip hop. So me moving to Atlanta exposed me to a lot more. We sold a lot of CDs out the trunk out here and got a name going in the early 2000s. Then I left out of here and went over to Amsterdam, lived for 2 or 3 years, and got exposed to the whole European hip hop market over there. It was for the best, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because they definitely show love, overseas. But when it comes to merch, I mean, they're quick to, once they hear you live, then they want to know, what you got with you.
Facts, man. We did very well, man, on the last tour, man. I took like 100 shirts over there, CDs, other things. But I remember I counted up, I took 100 shirts and I maybe only came back with like 10. I was like, man, these guys really, really, really support, man. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate it, and everybody who does.
Definitely. Now, when you started Fam Entertainment, was that still while you were in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, that was early. We had that going way back then. Fammy and Chi. I had the whole squad back, back home, doing our things. But I just had to grow it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Really, rep it, make it visual, make it legal. And I'm really expanding on those things right now, as the legal entity and the LLC with it and everything. So, yeah, it's been early, but we've grown it, and it's where we need to be right now with it.
Now, you are a man of many hats. You got the acting and the filmmaking as well.
Word.
So tell us how that came to be.
Okay, yeah. I did my first film out here in Atlanta. It's called The People of Silence. Shot by a director named Paul Sapp, wonderful director, and they told a dope story that I felt like, even if I wasn't even in that movie, the story they was telling was so dope. Just the code of ethics that we hold in our community when something happened is to keep your mouth closed and don't say nothing
Mm-hmm.
until it hits your doorstep and it happened to you. That was the whole gist of that movie. So I thought it was a great message to get by. We started there. We've been doing other auditions and things. Had another role in a movie called Candy, but I was actually leaving out on tour to Europe and I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get back into my acting role out here in Atlanta a little bit more, probably in the next year coming. But I got my own film, cameras, and we shooting and doing short films and everything as well too.
It's great, definitely. Now, you mentioned when you got to Atlanta how expansive the exposure is compared to being in Grand Rapids. How has that helped, and who have you linked up with that really helped not just get your name out there, but it's the same with them?
But it's hard to say because it's been a collection of different people. The good Lord has sent along my journey while being here. Um, it's hard to say because I could just take you to a couple of the time periods here. I just know in that early time when I came here, it was a couple guys like another artist named Martinez and a couple guys named JP and Skip that were introducing me to the actual real side of Atlanta and
Mm-hmm.
how to make money off of my actual music. That was a game changer for me. I was doing it in Michigan, but
Right.
coming here and being exposed to all that the city has to offer, um, put some jewels inside of me. Then we were able to host on the first annual hip hop, BET Hip Hop Awards out here. We were able to host on the red carpet. So being around those people exposed me to a couple other people. I met Jazzy Faye, I met Bone Crusher, I met Jeezy and them down here. But these were just people along the journey that I was meeting. So it's hard to say any one person kind of out here in Atlanta helped catapult me to things. What I would say for that is
Mm-hmm.
Amsterdam was a guy named Scan Music Records brought me out to Amsterdam to live out there for 3 years. And that opened me, I think, even to more opportunities that I felt like I was getting in Atlanta. Just coming back from there, I came back with a heavier, hard hat on and I was ready to hit the pavement. And then you've been seeing the escalate, the rising coming up, shows with Bumpy Knuckles, joints with Premier, um, and so on and so forth. So I think Europe really more played an aspect in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I see recently you was in the studio with DJ Dez.
Yes, just man, shout out my man. He's probably watching. Yeah, we was out in the studio.
Definitely shout out to him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, new mixtape we did, volume 32, hip hop. Please check that out, people. The whole
Definitely. Now with all this experience going on, how does it feel knowing that you got experience internationally in one of the well-known big cities in Atlanta and coming from Grand Rapids? Tell us how you when you go back to, because I'm sure you visit because you got family over there. How does that rent with them over there?
That's a great question, man. A really good question. Because I just went back home a couple months ago just to see family and to see the appreciation that they have for me for seeing the move is a great feeling. But the greatest feeling that I get from it over anything is when I'm able to go back to certain people, different artists that I know, and share information and just try to share my experiences and teach and show people that there's a different way. There's not only one way. You don't have to always be stuck on certain things. So the giving and teaching of information, man, is the most important for me from going back.
That's great. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. I mean, it's the same with saying if you have the talent, your talent can only take you so far, but understanding where you can take it with understanding the whole music business as well is completely different.
True story, man. True story. So I'm a real stickler on that, type of thing. I'm a person, that likes to share information, man, and teach more. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been doing it so long. You know what I mean? I just want to. I'm a big advocate about artists because I have conversations every day with different artists, and I'm always telling them that we are at the bottom of the list these days. The artists used to be at the top of the list, and I try to remind artists to never forget that you are important. We're all important together, but don't forget that you still are important because a lot of people try to make us like we're not important. The IG model is more important. The promoter is more important. This,
Mm-hmm.
that, and that. But we out here making music and providing our half to the culture as well. We don't always want to be put at the bottom of the list. So I try to teach cats to be confident and stand and hold your head high as being an artist and know your value. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. And with your music is relatable to how you came up and very close with family oriented as well. Tell
Yeah.
tell us how that tell us how projecting your life into the music is important for you.
Yeah, it's everything, man. It's everything. Life experience. So like when cats be asking me like, what is your sound? Maybe who do you stand for? I'd be like, and what do you get from listening to me? I'm gonna tell you all the time, man. It's gonna be life experience. Only talk what I know. I can only prophesize what I feel. You know what I'm saying? It should be
Mm-hmm.
with certain things, man. You're gonna hear a lot in my music, but it's everything, man. Because I went and seen a lot early, you know what I mean, and even experiences now being grown. You know what I'm saying? I feel like from then I wanted to tell you when I was younger what I was going through, how I was feeling, type of thing. Now as a grown person, I want to teach you how to build, how to be strong. You are a king. You know what I'm saying? The God is within you as well, and how we should stick together and teach our young ones coming up. You know what I mean? You're gonna hear a lot of my music. Besides just a lot of the bullshit. That a lot of people be on drugs, guns, money, shit like that. I'm gonna give you a little bit of that too, but I'm gonna teach along the way as well, bro.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
what sets you apart from a lot of artists. They think just because you're around it because you grew up that way, that's the only thing you can speak about. There's creative ways to still speak about it while still dropping jewels with it.
True. True. That I agree 100%. 100%.
Definitely. Now, how did you link up with A-Rap Music for the joint Breathe?
Say it one more time. A-Rap.
Yeah, A-Rap. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that was the A-Rap joint. It's really just the mixtape joint that we just kind of rhymed over,
Okay.
and it got back to it, and we kind of, we got the okay to just ride with it like that. But that was just kind of a mixtape rhyming track I wanted to put out, and it just kind of grew a little bit more than what I expected. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that happened.
Okay. Dope, dope, dope.
Yeah.
Now, being in the A, and I'm big fans and supporters of them, and you've also been on their show. Shout out to Southern Vanguard Radio. DJ
Shout
John
out, John.
Doe, Memphis
Yeah,
Beats.
man. Yeah, man. I love it, man. Hey, great people, great platform, man. That's my man. All the time, all day, all day,
Definitely. Now, how was it
all day.
doing it? You did a show with them. What was that, about a year ago?
Yeah, I think you're talking about the Bumpy Knuckles show, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
How
Amazing,
was that? Yeah.
amazing night because you had so many people come through that show that night. You had Premier come through. Um, who else came through? Large Profess came through.
Yep.
Um, it was just so much of that electric legendary energy in the building. That shit was just shocking, and then to be able to sit and talk with Bumpy Knuckles, to be able to sit and talk with Primo when he came, actually really sit and get a stamp and a blessing from him in front of
Mm.
everybody at that concert was it was hip hop special shit, like I never can forget. So John Doe, Southern Vanguard, thank you for that opportunity too, man. Word.
Yeah, man. You know, that type of energy, there's always something good that's going to come out of that. It's great to hear your experience from that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like that night was just we couldn't believe it because we couldn't just believe who was just walking through the door. More so of us performing, like it was just who was walking in the door and
Mm.
in the room all at the same time. That's like one
Just
of my most memorable shows in Atlanta. Yeah,
mm, yeah, just mingling in, no separation or anything like that. Just enjoying it.
yeah, man. That was beautiful. I can't wait to see another night like that.
Definitely. Now, with your music, you also have been dropping physicals. You have the vinyl and the CD for your current album, The Fix, but you
Yeah,
also have T-shirts. Now, tell us about your decision to have some tie-dye T-shirts.
yeah. Just moving with what's kind of current right now because we're seeing in the market that tie dyes are actually really popular right now. And then just kind of people with inside of my circle was just giving me different ideas for different shirts because we just growing it. Like the next shirt design we're gonna do outside of the Sixman is gonna probably be the cartoon character that we're
Okay.
gonna start shirts. So we just growing it and just finding different ideas, and then nobody's putting out tie dye shirts. A lot of
Mm.
people I talked to had the idea, but they really
They can
wasn't.
actually do it.
You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So I just saw that it's popular in the market. I get a lot of pull and feedback on it and sales on it. So I'm expanding with it. I got the acid wash, the tie dye. Yeah, man. Just I'm growing with it. Next coming the cartoon character.
Mm.
Growing.
That's great. And staying on topic with the album, The Fix, producer Tommy Vamoose, he did the entire album.
Tommy Van Moose.
How was it working
So
with
you
him? And how did the two of you link up?
were me and Tommy. I've been knowing Tommy. Tommy's a producer for him. And I met first first time, and we did a project called the Greenhouse. It was an ode kind of to Amsterdam and the biggest coffee shop in the city, which I have a great relationship with the Greenhouse today. So that's how I already knew him. So it had been since 2000, I think 2011, since we had did a project. Um, I think when I was going over to do that last King tour in Europe is when I first started to receive beats for the project or the fix. So I started to get ideas on that tour over there in Europe. Fast forward, we come back, do the Jay Dilla show in Detroit, and then COVID hits. So now COVID's coming around. Now I'm seeing the riots happen in my own city. I'm seeing them happen all around the world, and I'm feeling it off TV too. But then I'm rolling downtown, and I'm actually feeling it and seeing it that way too. Some of the homies coming back talking about, yeah, I went down there just seeing what's up, and I got tear gas and all that. So we feeling it on that angle. And that's how the cover came about. Is because I was out working and riding and seeing this on a daily basis too. So it resonated. Here come the fix. You know what I'm saying? I want to fix what we call our problem in hip hop, that all us heads be like, we don't like the type of music that's out. And then we got this problem in American society at the same time. I merged them together and I started to create the fix, man. And that cover came alive. And Tommy and me did it all together. Shit we was talking about. Yo, that album means everything to me, man.
That's interesting. I like that, how that came to be.
Word. Yep.
Now one of my favorites is Legend of the Sixman. You hear me?
Okay, say it again.
Oh, I was saying one of my favorites is Legend of the Sixman.
Okay.
Just break down that story for me.
That's a origin song. So I'm gonna end up doing a part 2 and moving forward and doing a part 3. So I wanted to give the origins on how I started, why I started in Grand Rapids. When I decided to move out and come down to Atlanta, and then I kind of briefly gave you a hint on then going over to Amsterdam. So I have to part 2 and part 3 those origin stories. So yeah, that's the every word, every line in that song, everything is true. No fabrication. Every line is true.
Shout out TJ Des, just commented, checking in.
Shout out Des, what up? Yeah, I sent it around to a bunch of people, so hopefully we got, a couple of the people I sent it around to. Shout out Des, man. Hip hop never sleeps.
Yeah, you got a few more up in here.
Okay, yeah. I know them too. Yep, they know my music for a long time too. That's love.
That's love right there, definitely. Dope.
Wow. Dope. I can see the comments. That's dope.
Who's that? Tommy Black?
Shout out DJ Tommy Black. It's my tour DJ right there. Shout out DJ Tommy Black, man.
Now with the fix, you got some, as I was talking in the beginning during your intro, some ill features on there. We just recently had Elder Sensei up on the show. You also got General Steele from Smith & Wesson. Jay Cyanide, he's ill. He just dropped a dope new project with Body Bag Ben.
Yeah.
You got the Fist Coalition up on there.
Yeah.
And who else was up on there? Somebody else, right?
We had DJ Nick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Willie For Real.
Yeah, Will For Real. Sing out of Atlanta, man. Like, Will For Real is actually a singer and writer with the Dungeon Family, even still to this day. Dope dude.
That's dope. Now, I wasn't even thinking about this, but being that you brought Dungeon Family up, when I watched their documentary, and I always felt this way, they always seemed like the catalyst for every artist that came through with them. They were like, they brought everything together.
They did.
Now, for you, how do you feel being that between Grand Rapids and Atlanta? How do you feel as a catalyst?
I get what you're saying. That's a good one, man. I feel I'm a catalyst in a way because, the goal is to be able to help others, and that's what the Dungeon was doing. They was helping those that they seen that had that serious talent and that they really wanted to ride with, and they were able to help and expand, some of the most classical, records that we know of in hip hop. So I always moniker myself to be a person that I don't just want to get to be pioneering, legendary without helping and ushering in some other people that lay classic gems to the hip hop culture as well. So if I'm a catalyst and I can be a catalyst in that way of coming from here and being in Atlanta and being able to do that, find some gyms that can lay foundation into the culture, man, I'm all for it.
Dope, dope. You got Jules J that said, "Keep it up."
Love, Jules. Appreciate that. Always. Never gonna stop. We gotta keep going. This guy's calling on me. Gotta keep going.
Dope, dope. Now I didn't want to sidetrack, but we were talking about your guest features on the fix.
Yeah, yeah. What you wanna know?
Just tell us how you linked up with some of these artists.
Okay, no doubt. So I'll just go down the list of them. So Elder Sensei, shout out, who just left out of Atlanta, man, my bro. I met those guys overseas, over in Europe, and they were more impressed by seeing me being like unknown and being over there, kind of standing next to them. That was a little bit impressive for them. Carried back on over into the States. I saw L at the A3C a lot. Him at the Dot. Started to help them, build with them, and then from there we eventually ended up doing the track. After we did the track, man, me and him been brothers ever since. Like, he'll come stay over here with me. I go everywhere with him when he's out here. So that's kind of how that came about with L. General the same way. I met General over in Europe. I opened for him in Amsterdam, and from that day, like, General was showing me a lot of love from the stage, shouting me out and letting people know, like, look out for this brother and stuff like that. So we carried it on. He kept seeing what I was doing. So when we went out there and did the video with General, it's something I never forget. He said to me in the house, and that shit meant everything to me. He was like, the reason why I fuck with you, Sixman, is because the way you move. He said, you a person, get up, and you got some get up and go about you. Not all artists have that. And the way you be moving, that shit was just very impressive to them. So they wanted to lock in and help me in whatever way they can help me and build with me. So that's what we've been doing. Jay Side-Eye, met him at the Bumpy Knuckle show. And he was giving me props. I was giving him props, seeing what he was doing, talking about the vinyl thing. He opened my eyes to a couple of things that way. We kept in contact, and we ended up linking up doing the track. Real easy, built real quick. Fist Coalition is a group out of Grand Rapids. They're a group that's really slept on a lot in Grand Rapids, and they shouldn't be, because those boys really work hard. They got good music, some good features. They rock with Raw Digger. They just did something with Crooked Eye. So, I'm trying to help bring awareness to what they doing already. You know what I'm saying? Just bring awareness to that. And Willie Farrell, I told you, that's a friend of mine here in Atlanta, who was a writer and singer and works with Dungeon Family and those guys, and Little Will and those guys. And then DJ Nano is a DJ I know from overseas who stays out in France. I've known him for about 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that all together, and that's how the fix came together, bro. Yep.
That's nice. That's amazing, man. It's beautiful to see when talent respects other talent, and y'all get to actually have a natural relationship, because a lot of music that's made still to this day is not really organic. It's more of I'm famous, you're famous, let's do something together. So
Right.
it's always good to hear artists on the show that actually has genuine relationships with the people that they're working with.
Yeah, it's important to me, man. It's growing. I got growing relationships with Brian Nazareth and Apollo that are just growing, probably before we even get to doing music. So that's an important thing for me, man. If you know a person, like a person, grow with them, that music gonna come naturally. That's very important for me.
Now, I saw you rocked the same stage as the Miami crew, Mayday. I've been listening to them for quite some time. How was that to link up and actually be on the stage with them? Because I've seen them perform once before down in Florida.
Word. Shout out Mayday, man. Yeah, Recognize was shout out him. He was one of the coolest dudes from out there. Out of all of them, shout out all of them. But me and Recognize really was kicking it more so while we was there, man, and kind of really even still, I send him a DM and stuff like that. So that was interesting to be able to perform and intermingle amongst their crowd, and to see them have respect for what I do. That was amazing. You know what I'm saying? And it's confirmation, man, to just keep going, you know, hit them on all levels. You know what I'm saying? So that exposure was great with Mayday, bro. Shout out Mayday.
You know, from hearing your experiences from your live shows, I'm sure at some point there's probably artists in the crowd that you've influenced with your drive that at some point it's giving them that push to do the same things that you're doing.
I hope so. I know improvement too. I always push those guys and drive those guys to see what I'm doing. But I tell them, man, I do the same thing. Just like the person might find himself inspired by me and what I'm doing. I still look to those guys, and I find myself inspired by what they're doing and keep me going. So it's a whole trickle down effect. And there go Mike Hunter D right there, who we were just talking about from the Fist Coalition. So out him.
Shout out to him, definitely.
Word.
Yep. Now you have a deep history with the DeBarge family, and rest in peace, Tommy DeBarge. And my condolences to you and the family. That you were saying that you were very close with him. You actually called him Unc.
Yeah.
So I mean, if anybody refers to a person like that, there's a deep history with that.
Yeah, it's a history, man. Like I was telling you, outside of just music. So for everybody watching, just how that happened and why I say that. Tommy DeBarge and my mother's relationship started through their recovery back at that time. So they were recovering together and stuff like that. Tommy's wife actually was a teacher inside of a boys' home that I was locked up in for about 3 years. So she was a teacher there at the same time. So coming, out, those relationships continued to flourish. Tommy had became a mentor with me through, being around to the point where my first album, Who Am I the Definition, was helped recorded by Tommy DeBarge. I was recording over at the condo over there, some of those earlier songs for Who Am I. He helped put me in touch with another studio that I then recorded my full album, a guy named Larry Rose. These were studios that they would work in Grand Rapids when they would work. So he was always putting my mind right as a young man at that time, and my relationship getting back tight with my mom. So we began to go to their church at Bethel. And after going to the church is then where my relationship with Chico started to get a little bit tighter. He would take us home with the family and drop us off from church. He would always listen to the music, critique the music. I was telling you, he was the one that put it in my brain to move outside of Michigan. If I ever thought about ever blowing up or doing my thing seriously in the music industry, I would have to leave Grand Rapids. Those were the guys that put that in me. And then with Chico, we were gonna sign to his label. That didn't happen. So that's where we with the family. I knew his kids, Tommy's kids, when they was young. Andrew and them when they was young. His daughter, I used to call Maya because she looked like Maya. His oldest, Tommy Jr., who was going to be signed to Chico as well. So that shit goes deep, man. It's stories with Tommy that I would never tell. It could never tell, but I would never forget things just seeing and sitting in my house. And when Elder Barge came over and met my mom, like, it's a lot of things that some things I won't even talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Out of respect. Yeah.
So I mean, you just have experience all across the board with music. I mean, that's beautiful like that, because I mean a lot of people have come up on music with others that they might have some significant type of connection with, like you have, and
Word.
deep down you may have not have thought about it back then, but it's not just an influence. I mean, they're giving you they're giving you that experience and a good path for you to flourish with.
That's right. Agree.
Yeah. Much
Okay.
respect to the Barges.
Much respect to the Dodgers. Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Yep, I can still hear you.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
Now there was I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, the project, the Grand.
Want me to
Well,
talk about that?
yeah, that came out a few years ago. What was that, like 2018?
Yeah, that came out before The Last King. Yeah, that was I kind of packaged that up like a mixtape, and it kind of took off as
Mm-hmm.
something more than that too. Um, but the Grand was so vital for me because I wanted to lay something for the city that I'm from. That's why you see the Carter City, the orange thing is the Carter City staple that's downtown. I wanted to really bring people into where I'm from, and that was for the city too, for the city to be able to grab, put in, and bump and be like, yo, this is familiar, this is us, that sound like us, that is how we walk, that is how we dress, that's how we fight. That's why I really wanted to do the Grand. So yeah, man, but very, very vital piece, man, very vital piece.
Cool. And circling back to the, you said you're gonna start having the cartoon character on your t-shirts. Who did that cartoon character?
A guy, Steph Ketcher, sketching artist. I think he's from Africa, matter of fact. He's done a lot of them cartoons for a lot of the other artists, man. A lot of the Griselda dudes,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of dudes. He got a big collage of the guys. Shout out my man Seth.
Okay. Now, with all this experience you have and your drive, did you ever think of maybe having seminars for up and coming artists?
Absolutely, absolutely, man. I do them sometimes on my Facebook, but I'm probably end up organizing it and doing it a little bit more official. But every once in a while, man, I'll go on my Facebook and just kind of hold class for a little while, and I'm teaching my artists on what they need to be aware of. What was the last one we was talking about? I held my seminar on Facebook was maybe I think about publishing and the different things that come with publishing, the different types of publishing, why it matters. Um, Nelson BDS sound scans and how to roll out an album was our last discussion on how to properly roll out an album. So I do them every now and then. I think I'm gonna probably end up moving and doing it more so.
That's great. Great.
Absolutely, man.
What can we expect a film by you?
When can you expect a film by me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're doing a short film for the $6 Million Man album. When we put the $6 Million Man album out, we was thinking about putting a short film with that. So that might happen in that time, like how I kind of rolled out the fix with the documentary. I was like, maybe I'll do the $6 Million Man. Might have like a short film that kind of introduces a little bit before the music come out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I already kind of have something written up, a script. It's called Realize Everyone Ain't Loyal. Um, it's a dope story. So I might end up putting that short, film together, bro. Coming real soon with one of the albums.
Dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Terrence Davis.
Shout out to Terrence Davis. See, the people are in tune. Much appreciated, man. Much appreciated.
And Janice was saying, we love it as well as appreciate your transparency.
For real, you know, gotta.
Can we expect any guest features from Sixman on anybody's projects that you can actually maybe speak about?
Yeah, we got a couple out there. I'm on that Cedric and Cedar joint. My sister's joint, Afro, produced by the Junkies ATL. I'm on there with a Kill the MC from Jurassic 5, Elder Sensei, Afro, Tribe, Prince, Jay Garvey. Then I'm on a European producer guy named Tony Tone, his album, track called Black Shampoo, me, Caper, Honey De Niro. Um, what else I got out? What else I got out? Then we got the joint I just did this Sunday with DJ Des. That's gonna be coming out on something they got coming soon. Me, Cali Styles. You might see another important feature that he's working out with right now to be on that. I did an exclusive track for DJ Des over a producer's track, Omegatronics. So I've been doing a lot of feature work, you know, before getting into new music. But I gotta talk about I got an EP coming like next month. I'm giving to the people 7 songs called Deluxe, Luxurious Urban Experience. I think people love it, and then I'm gonna come bust them in the head with the $6 million man.
Yep. There you go.
Yep.
Y'all heard that?
We working. So
I like that title.
Yo. Yep. I look forward to that luxurious urban experience. I think it's gonna be real relatable. I think you're gonna be familiar with the new wave of sound. You got a couple tracks with the drumless tracks and everything, but my take on it is very different, very much more up tempo, and like I said, the luxurious urban experiences. I think, you know, something that our people from around the way, everybody can really grab onto. You know what I'm saying? Not just and only D-boys and hustlers, but them too. But just even people around the way, you know what I'm saying, that live a luxurious style in our urban communities every day, you know.
Definitely. And you know, I didn't touch on this really, but being that you're from the Midwest gets, you know, they get the sound, they get different sounds more so than me being from the East Coast. You get a little bit of the Midwest, you got a little bit of the West Coast, you got a little bit of our stuff, and then you still have your own signature sound as well. So what I was gonna say was what you were just explaining with your upcoming EP. You said drumless, but at the same time you said the tempo is a little bit different, and that's not tempos. That's not what's normal with what you're hearing right now with the drumless stuff. So
right. So, and that's why it's important for me to put this EP out, is because it's like, okay, you jumping in a wave, but you're not jumping in a wave doing the exact same thing that everybody does. Because I'm from an era where you couldn't really do that anyway. So I have to give a different take on this. I noticed when I came up to New Jersey, I did Flip Script Radio, and he had heard the drumless track on the Fix album. He said, "Yeah, I did notice it's a little bit more faster." I was like, "Yeah, I think this is going to be my." You know what I'm saying? It's familiar, but it's a little faster and a little bit more relatable, just in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Well, we'll see.
Dope. Sixman, everybody. You know, I appreciate you taking the time out. And I'm sure everyone that you sent that link out to definitely appreciated the time. And for those that aren't too familiar with them, I will definitely put a link in the Bandcamp for you to check out his latest album, The Fix. And the plate is yours to give your shout outs and to tell everyone where they can reach out for you and your music.
Word. So I definitely wanted to say Much love and appreciation to April Walker from Walkerware, building a phenomenal relationship with the icon, and it's some great things to come from that relationship. So on my podcast, she could be listening. I'm gonna send it to her afterwards. I want to big up her. I want to big up Tommy Van Moose, staying down with me, man, and always sending me hot joints so we can, produce and make magic together. Shout out my DJs, DJ Des, DJ Tommy Black, the Wrecking Crew down here, Junkies ATL, Yo Afro, Trife and them, the Fist Coalition and them, everybody that helps me with my merchandise, Lace, all of my friends that ever supported, bought a ticket, came out to anything, Lulu and them, Carlos and them, all the homies around here. Thank you, Elder Sensei, General Steele and y'all, for really holding me down and teaching me more valuable things on how to grow it and to being a great artist. So make sure y'all follow me, everything on the social media at The Real Sixman. Please go to the IG if you're not following me now, at The Real Sixman. Follow me, stay in touch with me. Get all music from the Bandcamp. That's on Bandcamp. Sixman. Remember, search everything. The Real Sixman. Work.
Dope. Definitely appreciate that, man. Looking forward to that EP.
Man, appreciate you. I'm gonna make sure I send it to you in the email first. Don't worry, you got it coming. Don't worry.
Appreciate that, man. And on behalf of our HHDG media crew, we're gonna say peace.
Peace.